Fams, welcome back to my next video. And if you're new to my channel, I make content about buying and selling Pokemon cards. I've been making it a daily video for 20 days now. I did miss like 1 or 2 days, but it is a grind making these videos. I do push myself to make them because I have a lot going on. So I really appreciate if you guys subscribe if you like it, drop a like if you like this video as well. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about just that, how I buy and sell Pokemon cards. I am a dying species of dying art form, especially for a single person, right? To try to do something like this full time. It is more of an experiment for me. It's not really a necessity because I do have 2 other side gigs. But I am very, very curious as to what it would take to do something like this full time. I have so far been doing it, been seriously doing it for April, which were about a little bit over a week now. And my results that I've mentioned in a couple of videos ago of how it's been going is not worth it, is what I mentioned, and how it breaks down to. If you take the expenses out of it, and you calculate the hourly rate, you're less than $15 an hour. But there are still questions there to be answered. What would happen if I have 50,000 cards in my inventory? Right now, I only have 21,000. I'm sure I'm expecting to double, triple. Those are things that I'm still holding off on in this experiment. But I can kind of estimate as to what would happen if I reach to 50, 70,000 number of cards in my inventory. I'll have more orders, and I'll probably spend my whole day just fulfilling the orders. Maybe I won't even need to or have time to list more cards. And I think that the hourly rate would kind of match up a little bit more closer to full time. But you got to keep in mind, it takes time to process bulk. So that's what I said, it wouldn't really be worth it. Now, so what am I doing? If I'm saying all these things, what am I doing still with this project? 2 things. I'm holding off to see what would happen when I get to a higher inventory. And 3, recently, I've been thinking about a wild idea to make this actually work really well. And that's what is sparking this video. My wild idea to make this really successful. All right, so that's what I'm going to circle back around. But to answer that question and to explain everything of me, hopefully you guys want to get to know me a little bit more. That's what this video is also going to be about. I'm going to explain my type of thinking, background, my drives, things like that. So to really understand this and me, we have to go back to when I was at my local community college, right? Story time. So I graduated, I did some stuff out on the field, like construction, things like that. But then I was like, I want to take coding a little bit more serious. I'm going to get a degree on it. I'm going to go over to my local community college and apply for their program. I went through the program, and the last year of the program, it was a 2-year program, my associates. The last year, everyone in part of the program had a chance to go to a gaming convention that was part of also the gaming club, which I was, because I like making games. And that's kind of why I went to get my degree in coding, computer science, because I wanted to make whatever I wanted to. Games, websites. That's really the power of coding apps, right? Anything you really want to. So I was in my last year in the gaming club. We had a chance to go to the gaming convention, PAX gaming convention. I'm sure some of you guys know about it. And this was like around 2019 or so. And I took that opportunity to make something that I always wanted to make. I like cards, right? We're talking about Pokemon cards. I started off with Yu-Gi-Oh though. I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I didn't like the aspect of the card game that you had to write down points. It wasn't that visual. You didn't see what things were doing. You had to write. It wasn't visual at all, and you had to keep track manually. It was a very manual thing. So I had a wild idea, and this was like, right, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I had a wild idea of what if we had a projection system that could project down. So you put your card down, and it could read what the card is, and it would project something next to it. And I'll probably show a video of it, of me displaying this system at the arcade. But I was like, why can't we do something like that? And then I went for it. I was like, I'm gonna try to do something like this. I'm a coder after all. Now, something like this, I had no previous experience coding any of these things. Like, how am I even going to detect image or anything? But the more I started to do it, the less daunting it became, and I broke it down into steps. I was like, okay, maybe if I can't read the image of the card, which now I could kind of actually know how to do something like that. I'll read a QR code, right? So they'll put a QR card with the QR code, scan it. Anyways, I found ways to overcome it, and it became less daunting. And it actually became feasible, and it became possible. The reason I'm mentioning this is because this explains kind of how I like to operate. I like to try to take challenges that are significant, big challenges. I think that's, I don't know, something about that motivates me to actually work on it. If it's too simple, too easy, making a game, making an app, website, then I don't really try to really go for it. But if it's something revolutionary, something like the arcade machine, I will try to go more for it. So that brings me to this system. And also part of that story is I always try to optimize things. And you kind of will see this in my card sorting, right? I had that sorting idea. So I always try to think outside the box, try to see how I can improve whatever I'm working on. And in this scenario, buying and selling Pokemon cards, I think the best way for a single person, obviously you can hire more people out. Now I'm going to show you the traditional route. So traditional route, you make your money from your basement selling Pokemon cards, your grandma's basement, selling Pokemon cards, right? And then you save up. You buy a machine. They're not cheap, 10,000, 20,000, whatever. You can get your credit card, pay it. But even then, you buy a sorting machine, you still need people. If you now have the sorting machine, you need a lot of cards to process through it to make this machine worth it. So then you need to hire more people so that they can fulfill those orders, because now you have 100,000 cards listed, 200,000 cards listed, right? A lot. So now you need people to fulfill those orders. So as a single person, and I think about how I can make the most money off of this, optimize this as much as possible. And it's really not about the money. To me, it's more about automated. I'd rather not be grinding away, sorting, if I don't have to, right? If I can make a better mousetrap, better idea to do it. So that's what I'm thinking. The idea is going to be to automate this with a sorting. There's already sorting machines, but then I'm going to add a shipping machine to it as well, retrieving from inventory and be able to ship it out. Now, this idea that I have, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, just like my projecting arcade machine. I don't even understand how I would do it. But something about me is I have a drive, just like I understand or know anything about the other idea. I had this, where there is a need, where there is a want, right? And especially with me, if I really want something, I will dedicate a lot of time to figure it out. If I need to code it myself, find some way to do it. But that is my pie in the sky, my wish, fantasy, call it whatever you want. So I'm not going to create a sorting machine. I don't think that would make much sense. I'd probably just buy one. But being a single person, I don't want to hire more people out. So I'm going to make a retrieving and shipping machine. So this machine will retrieve cards from my physical inventory when an order comes through. I don't know how that would work yet. I have some ideas though. I like ideas. I have ideas. So this bot will retrieve the cards and then we'll package it. We'll fold the envelope. And then at the end of it all, I just get a fully made envelope that I drop off to my USPS. So that way I don't have to do any of it, right? I don't have to sort, list, send cards out, none of that. If anything, what I would take care of is finding the cards for the inventory, buying it, feeding my machine, feeding my system so that it takes care of itself. A system like this that's running 24/7 and can also send out cards. Right now, I don't know of any machine. I know of sorting machines, but the machines that can retrieve from the inventory and send them out. Maybe TCGplayer has proprietary stuff. I'm sure they would. But that's what I'm trying to do. That's my ultimate goal. If I make something like this, I can see it being more than 100,000. And I can see it even being scaled up. What stops me from then making 2 machines, putting it in a warehouse, 3 machines, 4 machines, right? Feed it millions of cards. I'm sure the margins won't be there, but if you have, right, 10%, 15% margin of $1 million is still a lot of money. 150 or so a year, right? So that is my idea. It probably is not realistic. It probably won't happen, but it's more about the journey. And it really is for me, and with this idea, it's about being stimulated mentally, being challenged with something like this. And that really keeps me going, my drive, my passion. I just feel like I have to, I don't know, I'm not being challenged enough. I have too much to give, too much to offer, to not, I don't know, I feel like I would be hard on myself. I'm like, I should have done that. So I'm going to try it. I really am going to try it. And I'm going to maybe show you guys that. I don't know how that's going to portray in video format, if I will give you guys regular updates or just very few updates, but it'd be more like me accumulating footage, putting it all nicely together. So I still don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see something like that in the comments. I'm sorry this is a little bit longer video. Unapologetically long-winded rant about me, about my life, how I operate, some of the different things. All right, so I appreciate if you guys subscribe and like this video if you want to see some more. And I hope to see you in the next one. Later.